The endgame throw barb is such a fun build to play. It's both safe as he's a ranged character, but also has great survivability and mobility. But this is for endgame. How would that fare as a budget build?
In today's video, I'm going to go over the build for
the budget throw Barbarian, one that will be able to re-supplement its own health very well, deals good damage, and still plays quite well and is very fun for those wanting to test out the build for themselves.
I'm going to go over the attributes, the skill tree, the gear for my character and my mercenary, and afterwards I'm going to show you guys some gameplay so you could see this build in action. But do keep in mind that when it comes to this build, there are different ways you can be able to gear the character depending on your needs, whether you're trying to go for maximum DPS, you're trying to do a magic find character, or a hybrid of the two. Just keep in mind when it comes to looking at the gear choices that I'm going to be choosing, that you can choose alternative gear depending on the demand that you have for your build. Before we actually get into the build, the comment shout out for this video is going to be Pilgrim7709 from my recent drop highlights video, who mentioned me missing a drop, but still enjoyed the video. The unique chain boots that you mentioned me missing are Treads of Cthon. Unfortunately, not a drop that I felt was worth showing, as I like to focus on the harder to find, rarer drops that stand out amongst the more commonly dropped items. Stoked that you enjoyed the video. Now let's go ahead and get into the video. For the attributes, there's enough strength to be able to equip the gear, enough dexterity to be able to get 9500 attack rating once buffed up, and the remaining points are going to be put into vitality. For the skill trees, starting with the combat skills, the main skill to deal damage is double throw, so double throw is maxed, as well as double swing as it synergizes double throw. Moving on to the Warcry skill tree, I have shout maxed, battle orders maxed, 1 point into battle command, and 1 point down to find item for magic finding. Lastly, for the combat masteries, throw masteries is maxed, then initially 1 point into increased stamina, increased speed, Iron Skin, and Natural Resistance. This left me with a few points remaining, and I ended up putting them into Natural Resistance to be able to give them a boost. I didn't see the benefit of trying to boost Find Item with putting them into Find Potion, with the remaining skill point investment being very low. Now for the gear, when it comes to the concept of a budget build, keep in mind that the items being shown are based on if they are, or sometimes aren't, optimal for the build, despite the item's rarity. There's a reason that so many set and unique items, and even some being treasure class 87 items, never see the light of day aside from Grayling, while some magic and rare items are more optimal and ideal for a build, and sometimes even become mandatory. And on items with a variety of stats that can roll, remember that this is all based on RNG or random number generation, or even better, just dumb luck for certain items to drop, as well as how they can roll. The helm is Vampire's Gaze for the dual leech, physical damage reduction, and magic damage reduction. The amulet is Cat's Eye for the faster run walk, IAS, and dexterity. The body armor is Hustle for the large faster run walk boost, IAS, faster hit recovery, evade to help get hit less often, dexterity, and a small boost to all res. The first weapon is a Demon's Arch for the IAS, enhanced damage, lightning and fire damage, and life stolen per hit. The second weapon is a Wraith Flight for the enhanced damage, life leech, and mana after each kill. Some may not consider these budget weapons. The damage being done isn't too high to be out of consideration for budget, despite their rarity. But to be fair, of all of the gear, these two would be the least budget items of everything else by comparison. The boots are Gore Riders for the faster run walk, Crushing Blow, Deadly Strike, and Open Wounds. The first ring is a rare dual leech ring with dual res and magic find. Rings rolling good or bad are all based on RNG, whether you're farming or gambling for them. To understand that better, check out my gambling guide for rings for all the details. Then the belt is Razor Tail for piercing, dexterity, and attacker takes damage based on character level. The second ring is a rare ring with attack rating, life leech, and some poison resistance. The gloves are Laying of Hands for the IAS, added % damage to demons, and fire res. On Switch, I have a teleport charge staff to be able to get around easier for areas that would take much longer to run through, such as the end of the River of Flame to be able to get into the Chaos Sanctuary, or getting around the Worldstone Keep. But if you'd like to use something else on Switch, you can add some of the remaining points into Leap to be able to have additional items here instead. In the inventory is my cube, both tomes, a Geese for magic finding, and the small charms are all different resistance small charms, as well as a few magic find. For the additional stats, he has 28% life leech, 15% mana leech, 142% magic find, 110% IAS, 125% faster run walk, and 33% chance of pierce, not including what comes on throw mastery with all of your skill points invested into it. For the Mercenary, he is the Act 5 Frenzy Mercenary using Tal's Mask, Treachery for the body armor, and dual Lawbringers to be able to have better chance of proccing Decrepify, as this will allow for physical immunities to be broken if we run into any monsters that are physical immune while running around killing everything. Now that we've discussed the attributes, the skill trees, the gear for my character and my Mercenary, let's go ahead and check out this build in action to see how well it actually plays out. With the gameplay, for anyone who'd be curious as to which player settings I'm using for my build guides, the past, presently on screen, and in the future, down in the bottom left corner is what the example gameplay being shown is currently at. There are some specific places that are my favorite to farm using this character, as they all utilize the strength of this build. Eldridge and Shank, as they are good super uniques to be able to get a lot of great items, and they are also very close to a waypoint. Pindleskin, as he can drop all but 3 items in the game, as running him over and over in a short amount of time can easily add up to hundreds of runs, increasing the chances of something GG to drop. Chaos Sanctuary, especially because of 2 reasons. No matter what you're fighting, anything undead or a demon, this build handles both very well. Because of the large life leech, fighting a demon helps leech a lot of life back to be able to ensure better survivability. And anything undead, so long as the Mercenary stays with you, has the Sanctuary aura from the Lawbringer, removing the physical immunities from normal undead monsters. Chaos is filled with both. Even against a large mob, he handled himself quite well. A few rejuves here and there, but overall, there was no scare in fighting them, despite their large numbers. This build isn't the fastest by any means, but for testing out this build, it gives a great look into how well it handles areas of the game it specifically is built for farming. The magic find is quite low, however I wanted to keep it within the theme of budget. There's room for improvement to be had, but even with the magic find as it is, dedicated farming could yield some great items with some help of good RNG luck. The last area I enjoyed testing this build at was the pits, another level 85 area that has a decent monster density, but especially enemies with generally lower health than you would find in Chaos. This build shined best here of all the aforementioned areas, and with more magic find items as you continue to improve upon your gear, the possibilities with this build increase, and so does the fun. This attack speed may seem slow to many, so as a way to boost it, having a hustle weapon in your queue for the burst of speed proc can add a lot of increased attack speed and movement speed to be able to make this build more enjoyable, especially if this is your first time testing this build out. This budget throw barb holds its own very well, especially considering that most throw barbs thrive more when it comes to being built with an endgame setup. If you are interested in checking out such a build, check out the endgame version that I made that can cut through all monsters with great ease, and brings order back to the Chaos Sanctuary.
You know, Nietzsche says, out of chaos comes order. Oh, blow it out your ass, Howard.
Link down in the description below. And that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and were able to see if this build would be something that you would be interested in going into the future. And if anything, at least just enjoyed the video. If you like this kind of content, want to see more, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification to be notified whenever a new video comes out.
Come on. Come on. Come on then. There you are. There you are.
And if you like this video, please let me know by leaving a like. It really is appreciated to be able to help my channel to grow. And if you want to see more of my Diablo 2 Resurrected content, make sure to click the card in the corner up above to check out my Diablo 2 Resurrected playlist with a lot of videos already in it, with a lot more coming in the very near future. Other than that, I hope you guys are staying safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.